What if your cat was more than just a pet? From heroic Mother Sage to mystical Oscar, and from wild tiger instincts to feline superpowers, these four unforgettable stories reveal the hidden depths of our cats, showing us love, sacrifice, mystery, and awe in every purr and paw print.
On October 12th, 2023, during an autumn storm that battered the coast of Portland, Maine, I witnessed something extraordinary through my kitchen window. A gray tabby cat, drenched and trembling, carefully balanced on my garage roof. In her mouth, a tiny, mewling kitten. Our eyes met through the rain-streaked glass. Hers were amber, filled with desperation and an unmistakable determination. Without thinking, I rushed to the back door and flung it open. The cat hesitated only briefly before leaping down from the roof to the garbage bin below, then to the ground. She padded toward me, her steps unsteady but purposeful. The kitten in her mouth squirmed weakly. I stepped aside, and to my astonishment, she walked straight into my home as if she'd been invited. Once inside, she gently placed the kitten, an orange ball of fluff barely larger than my palm, onto the throw rug in my living room. Then, without a backward glance, she darted back out into the storm. Confused, I knelt beside the tiny creature. Its eyes were barely open, its small body shivering with cold. I quickly wrapped it in a hand towel from the kitchen, rubbing gently to warm it. 20 minutes later, while I was heating a small dish of milk, I heard a scratching at the door. There she was again, the same tabby, with another kitten dangling from her mouth. This one was gray like its mother, but with white paws like tiny socks. "What are you doing?" I whispered, as she deposited the second kitten beside the first, and immediately turned to leave. This scene repeated itself 3 more times over the next hour. Each journey seemed more difficult than the last. The tabby's movements grew slower, her breathing more labored as she delivered her third kitten, Calico, fourth, black with white chest, and finally, a tiny fifth one, the runt, with fur a mix of orange and gray patches. After placing the last kitten with its siblings, the mother cat collapsed on the rug beside them. Her sides heaved with exhaustion, her fur matted and thin in patches. Only then did I notice how emaciated she was beneath her damp coat, ribs clearly visible, her face gaunt despite her swollen mammary glands. The kittens, now 5 in total, crawled blindly toward their mother's warmth. She curled around them as best she could, her purr surprisingly strong despite her evident weakness. I called the only veterinarian I knew who might answer so late, Dr. Eleanor Morgan, an old college friend who ran a small animal hospital across town. "Bring them in first thing tomorrow," she said, after I explained the situation. "Keep them warm tonight, and if you have an eyedropper, you might try giving the mother some water. She sounds dehydrated." That night, I slept on the couch beside the improvised nest I'd made from an old laundry basket and several soft blankets. Every few hours, I woke to check on the unusual family that had literally dropped into my life. The mother cat accepted small amounts of tuna and water, though she seemed more concerned with ensuring her kittens were nursing than with her own needs. By morning, the storm had passed. In the clear light of day, I could see just how poor the mother cat's condition truly was. What I'd taken for matted fur revealed patches of skin with no fur at all. One ear was tattered, and a scar ran across her nose. This wasn't just any stray. This cat had lived a hard life on the streets. At Dr. Morgan's clinic, the examination room fell silent as she checked each kitten methodically, then turned her attention to the mother. "The kittens are about 2 weeks old," she finally said, her expression careful as she palpated the mother cat's abdomen. "They're underweight, but otherwise healthy." She continued her examination, drawing blood and checking the mother cat's gums and eyes. With each minute that passed, her expression grew more somber. "What is it?" I asked, dreading the answer. Dr. Morgan sighed. "This cat is very sick. Advanced feline leukemia, severe malnutrition, and from these masses I can feel, likely metastatic cancer as well. I'm frankly amazed she had the strength to bring all 5 kittens to you last night. That kind of journey in her condition." Her words trailed off as we both looked at the mother cat, who was now grooming her kittens despite her obvious exhaustion. She knew, I said quietly, understanding dawning. She knew she was dying and was finding someone to take her babies. Dr. Morgan nodded. Animals have instincts we can barely comprehend. She chose your house for a reason. I named her Sage that afternoon, for the wisdom she'd shown in ensuring her kitten's survival before her own time ran out. The next 2 weeks transformed my quiet bachelor existence into a whirlwind of feeding schedules, veterinary visits, and late-night kitten care. The 5 little ones, whom I named Rain, Storm, Autumn, Ember, and Tiny Piper, the runt, grew stronger each day. They graduated from wobbly first steps to playful tumbling across my living room floor. Sage watched it all with evident satisfaction, though she grew weaker despite the medications Dr. Morgan had prescribed. She spent most days in the sunny spot by my living room window, purring when I stroked her head or when her kittens curled against her dwindling frame. On October 30th, as the first real chill of approaching winter crept through Portland, I woke before dawn with an inexplicable sense of change. The house felt different somehow. I found Sage not in her usual spot, but positioned carefully in the center of the kitten bed, her 5 children sleeping in a pile against her side. Her eyes met mine, those same amber eyes that had looked so determined on that rainy night, but now they held something different, a peaceful acceptance. I sat cross-legged on the floor beside her, gently running my hand along her back, feeling each vertebra beneath my fingertips. "You did it," I whispered. "They're safe now. They'll always be safe." Sage blinked slowly at me, that special cat communication that ethologists now recognize as a sign of trust and affection. Then she stretched one paw over her kittens protectively and closed her eyes, her breathing growing shallow. I stayed beside her as morning light gradually filled the room. The kittens woke and nursed one final time, while Sage used the last of her strength to clean each tiny face. Then, as sunlight finally reached their bed, Sage took one final breath and was gone. Her mission completed, her legacy secured in the 5 small lives that would now be my responsibility. Dr. Morgan came to the house that afternoon to help me with Sage's body. We wrapped her in her favorite blanket with a sprig of catmint from the garden. "In 15 years of practice," Dr. Morgan said, watching the kittens play obliviously around our feet, "I've never seen anything quite like what she did." "What do you mean?" "Most feral cats in her condition would hide away to die alone, but she used every last ounce of her strength to save her babies instead." She touched my arm, and somehow she knew exactly which house to choose. As November turned to December and the kittens grew into chubby, playful balls of energy, I often thought about the journey Sage had made on that stormy night. How many houses had she passed? How had she known my door would open? Had she seen me feeding neighborhood strays? Or was it some deeper instinct that led her to my roof? I'll never know what guided her paws to my home, but I'm forever grateful for her choice. The 5 kittens, now healthy, vaccinated, and microchipped, have transformed not just my living space, but my entire perspective on what family means. On Christmas Eve, as snow fell quietly outside, I placed a small granite marker in the garden beneath the window where Sage had spent her final days. It reads simply, "Sage, she saved 5 lives with her last journey." Sometimes at night, when all 5 kittens are piled on my bed in an impossible tangle of paws and tails, I imagine I can feel another presence in the room, a mother still watching over her children, satisfied that her final mission was accomplished. Sage had little time left when she appeared on my roof that stormy October night, but in her final days, she gave me a gift I never knew I needed, a family, created through one mother's extraordinary courage and her last, most selfless journey. Your tabby's adorable antics might seem worlds away from a prowling jungle predator, but these distant cousins share more than meets the eye. When a house cat stalks a toy mouse across your living room floor, muscles tensed and eyes focused, you're witnessing the same hunting prowess that makes tigers the feared apex predators of the Asian wilderness. Both creatures share a common ancestor from the Felidae family, and this shared lineage manifests in remarkably similar ways. The most striking similarity lies in their hunting techniques. Watch carefully next time your cat prepares to pounce. That patient stillness followed by an explosive burst of speed. Tigers employ identical tactics when hunting prey, sometimes waiting motionless for hours before striking. Both rely on stealth rather than stamina, preferring the calculated ambush over a lengthy chase. Their physical equipment follows the same blueprint as well. Those adorable mittens hiding your cat's claws operate on the same retractable mechanism as a tiger's deadly weapons. This unique adaptation allows both animals to keep their claws sharp by preventing unnecessary wear from walking. When needed, both cats and tigers extend these natural daggers with devastating precision. If humans possessed the proportional leaping ability of a house cat, noted one zoologist, we could easily jump over a house. This extraordinary athleticism is another trait shared with tigers, who can leap distances up to 33 feet. Both creatures possess specialized muscles and flexible spines that act like coiled springs, allowing them to achieve these impressive feats. Ever noticed how your cat seems to materialize from nowhere in the kitchen when you open a can? Those silent footsteps come courtesy of specialized pads that both house cats and tigers possess. These pads muffle sound, allowing them to approach prey without detection. Tigers stalk through dense jungle undergrowth with the same ghostly silence as your cat sneaking up on an unsuspecting toy. The similarities extend beyond hunting to sensory perception. Both creatures possess exceptional night vision, with eyes that can gather 6 times more light than human eyes. This nocturnal advantage explains why your cat suddenly becomes energetic at midnight. They're following ancient rhythms shared with their tiger cousins. Those whiskers aren't just for show either. Both tigers and house cats use these sensitive tactile organs as sophisticated environmental sensors. Each whisker connects to a nerve center that provides spatial awareness even in darkness. When a cat squeezes through a tight space, whiskers confirm whether they'll fit. The same function these appendages serve for tigers navigating dense jungle vegetation. Grooming habits reveal another striking parallel. Both species spend hours meticulously cleaning their fur. While your cat's tongue feels rough against your hand, both felines possess specialized backward-facing barbs on their tongues that function like natural combs. This shared adaptation removes dirt, distributes natural oils, and regulates body temperature. Those adorable murder mittens hide another shared trait, scent glands. Both house cats and tigers possess these glands between their toes, allowing them to mark territory as they walk. When your cat needs your lap, they're not just showing affection, they're subtly claiming you as their territory, much as tigers mark trees and rocks in their domain. Listen carefully to your cat's vocalizations and you'll hear echoes of their larger relatives. Both species communicate through a variety of sounds: purrs, growls, hisses, and chirps. While tigers can't purr continuously like house cats due to anatomical differences, they make similar chuffing sounds to express contentment. Conversely, house cats cannot roar like tigers, but compensate with an extensive vocabulary of meows specifically evolved to communicate with humans. Sleep patterns reveal yet another similarity. Your cat's seemingly excessive sleeping habits, often 16 hours daily, mirror tigers' energy conservation strategy. Both creatures are burst predators, saving energy between intense hunting sessions. That seemingly lazy cat sprawled across your keyboard is simply following instincts honed through millions of years of feline evolution. Even mating behaviors follow parallel paths. Female cats and tigresses both vocalize loudly during mating seasons, and males of both species engage in competitive behaviors to earn breeding rights. The difference? Your neutered house cat has thankfully been spared from these dramatic hormonal urges. Playfulness represents another shared characteristic, particularly evident in younger specimens. Tiger cubs playfully wrestle and pounce on each other, developing crucial hunting skills through these interactions, precisely the same purpose served by your kitten's seemingly random bursts of energy and play-fighting episodes. The similarities extend to dietary preferences as well. Both species are obligate carnivores, requiring meat to survive. Their digestive systems lack enzymes necessary to process plant matter efficiently. This explains why your cat shows little interest in vegetables but becomes intensely focused at the smell of chicken. Remarkably, even their vision shares specific limitations. Both tigers and house cats have limited color perception compared to humans, seeing primarily in blues and greens. Their visual systems prioritize motion detection over color differentiation, a specialization that helps identify moving prey in complex environments. Water relationships diverge somewhat between the species. Unlike many house cats, tigers enjoy swimming and readily enter water to cool off or hunt. However, certain domestic cat breeds like Maine Coons and Turkish Vans often share this affinity for water, suggesting the trait varies across the feline family. Intelligence patterns reveal further commonalities. Both species demonstrate problem-solving abilities, spatial reasoning, and excellent memories. Tigers remember territory boundaries spanning hundreds of square miles, while your house cat somehow knows precisely which cabinet contains treats despite rarely seeing it opened. Perhaps most fascinating is how both animals manipulate their human companions. Tigers in captivity quickly learn how to influence handlers through specific behaviors, just as house cats have perfected the art of training humans through strategic vocalizations and behaviors. That midnight paw to your face isn't random. It's a finely tuned interaction strategy developed through thousands of years of cat-human cohabitation. The next time your house cat fixes you with that inscrutable stare, pupils narrowed to mysterious slits, remember you're experiencing the same gaze that has made tigers symbols of power and mystery throughout human history. Despite vast differences in size and habitat, these distant cousins remain connected through shared instincts, behaviors, and adaptations. From whiskers to hunting techniques, from specialized teeth to communication methods, your domestic companion carries the genetic legacy of its magnificent wild relatives. That purring ball of fur curled on your lap contains echoes of the jungle within its DNA, a daily reminder of nature's remarkable evolutionary continuity. So when your house cat suddenly tears through the room at top speed for no apparent reason, remember, you're witnessing the same primal energy that powers one of nature's most perfect predators. The tiger's spirit lives on in miniature form, bringing a touch of wild majesty into our domestic lives. Both creatures also share remarkable facial structures designed specifically for hunting. Their forward-facing eyes provide superior depth perception, crucial for accurately judging pouncing distances. This binocular vision allows both house cats and tigers to track moving prey with extraordinary precision. Their distinctive vertical pupils, while differing in size, serve identical functions, providing exceptional focus in varying light conditions while expanding dramatically in darkness. The digestive systems of both animals follow identical blueprints as well. Short intestinal tracts process meat efficiently while minimizing the time harmful bacteria might multiply. This specialized anatomy explains why both species can consume raw meat that would sicken humans. It also accounts for their distinctive waste. That unmistakable odor from your cat's litter box shares chemical compounds with tiger markings. Dental structures reveal yet another parallel. Both possess specialized carnassial teeth, modified molars with sharp edges that act like scissors for shearing meat. These distinctive teeth represent one of the clearest evolutionary adaptations shared across the entire Felidae family. Watch your cat yawn and you'll glimpse a miniature version of the same dental arrangement that allows tigers to process tough animal hides and sinew. Most remarkable is how these similarities persist despite wildly different scales. Your house cat's skeleton is essentially a miniaturized version of a tiger's frame, with proportions maintained across most bones and muscle groups. This scaling miracle allowed the domestic cat to retain most hunting capabilities while adapting to vastly different ecological niches, from Egyptian granaries to modern apartments. So the next time you find yourself mesmerized by wildlife footage of a tiger stalking through tall grass, remember, a living example of these evolutionary marvels might be purring on your couch. The genetic threads connecting these magnificent creatures remind us that nature's grandest designs often exist in multiple scales, each perfectly adapted to its environment, yet carrying the unmistakable signature of shared ancestry.
That cat lounging on your sofa? It's hiding secret superpowers you'd never suspect. Most people think they know cats. They purr, they pounce, they knock things off tables for no reason. But behind those innocent eyes lies a set of abilities that would make any superhero jealous. Cats aren't just pets. They're walking miracles of evolution with skills that science is still trying to fully understand. 10. They can taste the air. Ever caught your cat making a weird face with their mouth slightly open? That strange expression has a name. the Flamen response. When a cat detects something interesting in the air, they'll open their mouth to activate their Jacobson's organ, located on the roof of their mouth. This specialized sensory tool allows them to literally taste scents floating around them. It's like having a second nose that processes chemical information in a completely different way than regular smelling. This ability helps cats detect pheromones from other animals and pick up on subtle environmental changes humans could never notice. When your cat makes this face, they're not being weird. They're accessing sensory information from their environment that's completely invisible to you. 9. They've developed meows just for humans. Wild cats don't meow to each other. Adult feral cats rarely vocalize beyond hissing, growling, or the occasional yowl during mating season. The meow? That's something domestic cats created specifically to communicate with humans. Kittens meow to their mothers when they need attention, but wild cats generally outgrow this behavior. House cats, however, have learned that humans respond to vocal communication. They've essentially kept their baby talk into adulthood, creating a special language just for their human companions. Your cat's distinctive meow patterns are a unique language developed over thousands of years of human-feline interaction. They've figured out exactly which sounds make you react, and they use different meows for different requests, from hunger to cuddles to demanding you open the door. 8. Their purrs have healing powers. That soothing purr isn't just a sign of contentment, it might actually be medicine. Cat purrs vibrate at frequencies between 25 and 150 hertz, precisely the range shown to promote tissue regeneration and bone healing. Scientists believe this might be why cats recover from injuries faster than many other animals. When a cat is injured or stressed, their purring might be a self-healing mechanism, helping reduce pain and speed recovery. Some veterinarians have observed that cats with broken bones heal faster and with fewer complications than dogs with similar injuries. Next time your cat is purring on your chest, remember, they might be healing you too. The vibrations could be reducing your stress, lowering your blood pressure, and even strengthening your bones with every rumbling breath. 7. They walk like camels and giraffes. Most four-legged animals walk with a diagonal gait. Right front leg, left back leg, left front leg, right back leg. Cats do it differently. They move both right legs, then both left legs, exactly like camels and giraffes. This unique walking pattern gives cats exceptional balance and stealth. By moving the legs on one side of their body together, they can place each back paw precisely where the front paw was a moment before. This minimizes noise and increases stability, especially on narrow surfaces. The next time you watch your cat stalk across the room, notice this distinctive movement pattern. It's the same gait that allows them to walk along fences and railings with incredible precision. 6. They might be right-pawed or left-pawed. Just like humans have dominant hands, cats have dominant paws. But there's a fascinating twist. It often correlates with gender. Research shows male cats are more likely to be left-pawed, while females tend to favor their right paw. Some cats, however, show no strong preference at all. You can test your cat's paw preference by watching which paw they use first to bat at toys, step over obstacles, or reach for food. Their dominant paw reflects brain lateralization, the division of labor between the left and right hemispheres of their brain. This isn't just a cute quirk. Understanding your cat's paw preference might give you insights into their personality and how they process emotions. 5. Their whiskers work as air current detectors. Those distinctive whiskers aren't just for show. They're precision instruments so sensitive they can detect the slightest changes in airflow. Each whisker is connected to a highly sensitive follicle packed with blood vessels and nerve endings. This network allows cats to feel their way through dark spaces by detecting how air currents bounce off nearby objects. Their whiskers are calibrated to the exact width of their body. When a cat approaches a gap, they don't need to measure it visually. They can tell whether they'll fit just by feeling how their whiskers interact with the space. Even more incredible, whiskers can detect the air disturbance from a mouse moving across the room, allowing cats to hunt effectively in complete darkness. 4. They can rotate their ears 180 degrees. A cat's ears are engineering marvels containing 32 muscles each. For comparison, human ears have just 6 muscles. These supercharged ears can independently rotate up to 180 degrees, allowing cats to pinpoint the exact location of sounds without moving their head. They can focus on sounds in different directions simultaneously, one ear tracking a mouse behind the wall, while the other monitors your movements in the kitchen. This exceptional hearing isn't just directional, it's also extremely sensitive. Cats can hear frequencies up to 64 kilohertz, compared to humans who top out around 20 kilohertz. They can detect the ultrasonic noises made by rodents, which are completely inaudible to human ears. 3. They have unique nose prints. While humans have fingerprints, cats have nose prints, and they're just as unique. Each cat's nose has a distinctive pattern of bumps and ridges that's different from every other cat in the world. These patterns are so distinct that nose prints could theoretically be used for identification, similar to human fingerprints. The texture and pattern of a cat's nose pad is completely unique to them, formed by the same developmental processes that create human fingerprints during fetal development. Some pet identification databases have actually started collecting nose prints as a way to identify lost cats, creating a feline equivalent of fingerprint databases. 2. They slow blink to show affection. When your cat looks at you and slowly closes their eyes, they're not just sleepy, they're telling you they love you. Animal behaviorists call this the cat kiss. It's a universal feline sign of trust and affection. In the wild, closing eyes around another creature is a vulnerable position. By slowly blinking at you, your cat is showing they feel safe and comfortable in your presence. Try returning the slow blink next time your cat does this. You'll often find they'll respond with another slow blink, creating a moment of nonverbal communication between species. This subtle eye communication is one of the most genuine expressions of trust a naturally vigilant predator can offer. 1. They dream just like humans. While your cat sleeps up to 16 hours a day, their brain isn't always resting. During REM sleep, cats experience dreams remarkably similar to humans. Scientists have observed brainwave patterns in sleeping cats that mirror those in humans during dreaming states. When your cat's whiskers twitch, paws flutter, or they make small noises during sleep, they're likely deep in a dream, perhaps chasing mice, exploring territories, or even reliving their day's experiences. Unlike humans, cats can go from deep sleep to fully alert in seconds. This adaptation from their wild ancestors allows them to remain vigilant against predators even while resting, which explains why your cat can be sound asleep one moment and pouncing on your feet the next. The next time you catch your cat in what appears to be an active dream, remember, they're experiencing a rich mental life that continues even when they're unconscious. These extraordinary feline abilities have evolved over millions of years, creating the perfect predator that now shares our homes and hearts. Next time you look at your cat, remember, you're not just living with a pet, you're sharing your space with one of nature's most perfectly engineered creatures.
In the quiet halls of Steer House Nursing Center in Providence, Rhode Island, an ordinary day in July 2005 marked the beginning of an extraordinary story. A small, unremarkable tabby cat named Oscar arrived at the facility, one of several adopted to provide comfort to residents. No one could have predicted that this seemingly ordinary feline would soon demonstrate an ability that would baffle medical professionals and bring comfort to dozens of families in their darkest hours. Unlike the other therapy animals that sought attention and affection, Oscar kept to himself. He avoided interaction, preferring solitude over socialization. Staff members initially wondered if bringing him to the dementia unit had been a mistake. Yet, something remarkable began to happen within the sterile walls of the third-floor advanced dementia unit. Dr. David Dosa, a geriatrician at the facility, first noticed Oscar's unusual behavior 6 months after the cat's arrival. The pattern was unmistakable, but seemed impossible. Oscar could sense when a patient was about to die. The first incident occurred on a sweltering summer afternoon. Mary Jenkins, an 83-year-old resident with advanced Alzheimer's, lay peacefully in her bed. Staff members estimated she had several days remaining. Oscar, who typically avoided patient rooms, slipped silently through the doorway. He leapt onto her bed, curled beside her, and began purring softly. Mary passed away 2 hours later. Staff might have dismissed this as coincidence, but then it happened again, and again, and again. By January 2007, Oscar had accurately predicted over 25 deaths. His procedure never varied. He would enter the room of a patient, sniff the air, and either leave immediately or jump onto the bed. If he stayed, staff knew they had approximately 4 hours before the patient would pass away. The nursing staff began calling family members whenever Oscar took up his vigil. "You may want to come soon," they would say. No additional explanation was necessary. The families understood. In one remarkable case, Oscar proved more accurate than the medical professionals. Ruth Mitchell was showing signs of improvement, and doctors had given her family hope, yet Oscar refused to leave her side. The staff, trusting Oscar's track record, called the family back just in time for them to be present during Ruth's unexpected passing. What made Oscar's gift even more profound was the nature of the facility itself. The dementia unit housed patients who could no longer communicate, recognize family members, or express their needs. They faced the prospect of dying alone, their loved ones perhaps not arriving in time for final goodbyes. Oscar changed that equation. His presence became a silent alarm, providing families with the precious opportunity to say goodbye, a gift beyond measure in the realm of end-of-life care. Sarah Williams, the head nurse who had initially questioned Oscar's placement in the unit, later admitted she had misjudged him entirely. "I thought we needed friendly, sociable cats," she confessed in an interview for a local newspaper. "I never imagined that Oscar's detachment would transform into such focused compassion when it truly mattered." The nursing staff observed that Oscar seemed to understand something fundamental about death that even they, with years of professional experience, sometimes struggled to accept. He approached each dying patient without fear or hesitation, offering simple presence when nothing else could be done. Dr. Dosa struggled to explain Oscar's ability. Initially skeptical, he meticulously documented each incident. Was Oscar detecting some subtle biochemical change? Could he smell ketones released during cell death? Or was there something more mysterious at work, something beyond scientific explanation? The medical community debated furiously. Some suggested Oscar was simply responding to the changed routines of the staff when a patient was near death. Others proposed he might be detecting pheromones released during the dying process. A few even argued that Oscar was drawn to the heated blankets often given to failing patients. None of these explanations fully satisfied Dr. Dosa. In July 2007, he published an article in the New England Journal of Medicine titled "A Day in the Life of Oscar the Cat." The story captured worldwide attention. Oscar became an overnight sensation, the cat who could predict death. But attention wasn't what Oscar sought. After the media frenzy subsided, he returned to his solemn duty. Day after day, he maintained his vigil, providing comfort to those making their final transition. Perhaps the most poignant aspect of Oscar's story wasn't his predictive abilities, but his transformation. The once aloof cat had found his purpose. With patients near death, Oscar showed a tenderness absent in his other interactions. He would purr, nuzzle, and provide a calming presence during their final hours. For staff members witnessing this metamorphosis, Oscar's behavior challenged their understanding of animal consciousness. How could this creature, initially deemed unsuitable for therapy work, demonstrate such profound empathy? The answer came from an unexpected source. In September 2008, Harold Williams, a retired veterinarian with terminal cancer, specifically requested a room in the dementia unit after reading about Oscar. When questioned why someone still cognitively intact would choose such placement, Harold smiled weakly. "I've spent my life understanding animals," he explained. "Oscar isn't predicting death, he's easing it." 3 days after his arrival, Oscar entered Harold's room and curled beside him. Rather than calling for family, Harold asked for a notepad. In his final hours, he documented his observations of Oscar's behavior. "He's not drawn to death," Harold wrote. "He's responding to a fundamental need, the desire not to die alone. In his own way, he's fulfilling his purpose more completely than many humans ever manage." Harold passed that evening with Oscar by his side. His notes provided a perspective that transformed how the staff viewed their feline colleague. By 2010, Oscar had maintained his perfect record through more than 50 deaths. The nursing home installed a plaque commemorating his service. Oscar, providing compassionate hospice care since 2005. Dr. Dosa eventually published a book about Oscar's remarkable journey. Rather than focusing on the sensational aspects, he explored the deeper implications of Oscar's gift, how an animal dismissed as unsuitable for therapy work had become an essential component of end-of-life care. During a particularly difficult week in November 2010, when 3 residents were in decline simultaneously, the staff observed something they hadn't seen before. Oscar divided his time methodically between the 3 rooms, spending exactly 1 hour with each patient in rotation. All 3 passed within the same 12-hour period. It was as if Oscar understood his responsibility extended to everyone in need, not just a single patient. This incident led Dr. Thomas Graves, a neurologist studying Oscar's behavior, to propose that the cat possessed an emotional intelligence that defied conventional understanding. "We tend to underestimate animals," Dr. Graves noted. "Oscar demonstrates capabilities that suggest animal consciousness may be far more complex than we've acknowledged." The story of Oscar challenges our understanding of the boundaries between species. In the cold, clinical environment of a dementia ward, this small cat demonstrated that compassion transcends language, cognitive capacity, and even species barriers. For the families of Steerhouse residents, Oscar provided an invaluable service. Diana Johnson, whose mother was comforted by Oscar during her final hours in February 2009, expressed what many families felt. "My mother couldn't recognize me anymore. She couldn't speak. I felt I'd already lost her," Diana recalled. "But seeing Oscar with her, caring for her when she was most vulnerable, it reminded me that something essential remained, something worthy of dignity and companionship until the very end." When the facility faced budget cuts in 2011, threatening the animal therapy program, families of former residents raised over $50,000 to establish an endowment, specifically for Oscar and future therapy animals. The Oscar Fund ensured that his work would continue undisturbed and that his legacy would extend to future generations of caregivers and patients. Oscar's legacy extends beyond the walls of Steerhouse. His story prompted numerous healthcare facilities to re-examine their approach to end-of-life care and the role animals might play in this sacred transition. As of 2013, Oscar continued his work, having accurately predicted over 100 deaths. Though aging himself, he maintained his solemn rounds, bringing comfort to those making their final journey. In the quiet moments when Oscar curls beside a resident, purring softly as life ebbs away, we glimpse something profound about connection. The boundaries we construct between species dissolve. What remains is simply presence, the quiet affirmation that no one need face the darkness alone. Oscar's gift isn't prediction, it's presence. In a world obsessed with extending life at all costs, this unassuming cat reminds us of something far more important, the dignity of a compassionate death. The tabby who came to Steerhouse as an afterthought became its most valuable teacher. Through Oscar, we learn that sometimes the most profound healing comes not from preventing death, but from transforming how we experience it. In the end, Oscar's story isn't about death at all. It's about life and how connection sustains us, even as everything else falls away. In the words Dr. Dosa recorded in his final chapter, Oscar teaches us that sometimes the most important medical intervention is simply showing up. The rest is grace. If you enjoyed, then watch our next video shown on screen.